Mo, how can we help you?
Hi, how are you?
Not too bad. What's on your mind tonight?
Well, actually, there's a struggle with me. Hi, B. Hi, Shannon.
Hello.
I love
Hi.
your work. I love everything about you. Just, well, it's just that, okay, my sister died this year, and
Sorry to hear that.
I'm so sorry.
yeah, well, was murder, but anyway.
Oh, my goodness.
And I've been struggling since then because damn, it is just okay. So I've been struggling because I'm disabled, right? I think I talked to Christy before when Mantelhanti was in.
Okay.
Talked about that we are disabled, that I have a so fucked up illness that I cannot even move my right side correctly. And well, I finally got like cyber girlfriend, you could say. And she is like she told me like, "Oh, wanna do it?" And then I wasn't like feeling it, so I was like asexual about it. So like I don't know how to cope with that. Like I know that my sister is dead, and then I have to, move on. But it is so fucking difficult.
Sure.
I'm sorry to use that language, but
no, it's an extreme emotion, and you're welcome to express it in the way that you need to.
And I've been like depressed, clinically depressed. I'm taking right now a drop and then a pill every single day. And the suicidal thoughts are coming.
What drug are you taking? I'm so sorry, but what drug are you taking?
Well, it's in Spanish, so I don't know how to say it. It's aloperidol.
Is it like Adderall?
Uh,
Is it an amphetamine, or is it a benzodiazepine, or is it an SSRI or an MAIO? And you didn't. The reason I ask that is if you're taking those, some of those can have the side effect of some form of sexual dysfunction or a dampening of sexual drives. So if that's something that you're concerned about and you're taking these drugs, in which if a doctor prescribed them to you, please don't stop taking them, and definitely never try to quit them cold turkey. Always follow a cessation plan. But if it's concerning you that you're having this decreased sexual drive in this particular time, that's something that the doctor who prescribed the drugs to you, you may wish to talk to them, because it could be, if it's some sort of benzodiazepine, if it's more of a depressant than a stimulant, like if it's not an amphetamine, if it's more of like an SSRI or like an MAIO inhibitor, then it may decrease your sexual drive if it's lowering acetylcholine levels. So I'd consult with your doctor before you get too concerned about a change, because that drug interaction could be a catalyst for that change, coupled with a legitimate acute depressive episode based on situational anxiety. That's going to dampen a sexual drive regardless, because your body goes into kind of like a fight or flight mode where your noradrenaline, or your norepinephrine just like peaks. And once you're finding that balance again, especially if there's a drug that's an inhibitor, that could be just a natural neurological response. So sorry to interrupt, but when I heard you were on drugs, that immediately kind of gave me that flag, because right now your neurotransmitters weren't operating at an optimal level anyway, because you had an acute onset of a traumatic experience. And then on top of that, you're now acclimatizing to a neuropharmacological agent that sometimes it takes a little while to balance those out while you need to utilize them.
Yeah. I mean, like, I cannot speak that freely with my psychiatrist, because she is pretty much religious. So I'm trying to
Oh gosh.
for a secular point of view.
Yeah, and that's a valuable thing. I guess I just want to cut in and suggest, I don't know your situation, and certainly there are limitations. Sometimes the best help you can get is the best help you can get. But if you feel like you can't talk openly and honestly with the person who is prescribing you psychiatric medications, there's a meaningful problem that needs to be addressed there.
Yeah.
If you don't feel like they have time to listen to you, if you don't feel like they understand what you have to say, or if you feel like they dismiss what you have to say because of their own biases or religious beliefs or whatever else, then you want to do everything you can to find a different prescriber who's able to meaningfully listen to what you have to say, because it's very hard to find the right drug when you're talking about depression. These medications can be very helpful, but many of them can be pretty damaging, and so you want to find the right drug for you, and that's a conversation that has to be detailed and a little bit intimate.
Well, that is the issue, though, because here in Colombia, there is a lot of religious doctors, per se, and I told her that I am an atheist, and no matter what the outcome is, I need to get help, whether it's through her or through another doctor. But I need to get help.
Yeah.
And well, so far, it's been kind of helpful, but she is like a kind of like putting things that shouldn't be there in the first place. Like, for example, the gut baggage. Like, oh, you should repent to your God, to God, because that is whatever.
I'm sorry. Oh my God.
And like, I have no idea. I just don't know, because every single person that I talk to here in Colombia, it's religious. So like I'm like tight-handed right here.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry, because you're in an abject, like an absolute catch-22 situation. You have a doctor who you need to support you through a transition period of severe trauma, but simultaneously you have a doctor that in order for anybody in the mental health field to be able to adequately assist you, you need to be able to be open to them in dialogue, and they need to know what all of your concerns are and how to address them. And that includes physiological responses. So I'm trying to think of a way that you can parse the fact that this is like a physiological response that you're having without referencing that you are actually looking to engage in sexual activity. Like, perhaps you can say, I used to have a higher sex drive, and now I find my libido is lower. That doesn't necessarily kind of give away the ghost that you're actually looking to engage in sexual activity. But you can say, this is a physiological change that I've noticed that's pretty dramatic to me. So is there something we can do to control my dosages to see if I can feel a little bit more like myself, because that physiological change is making me uncomfortable? That may be a way for you to approach her. I thought I heard you say her, without saying, listen, I want to have sex with my girlfriend. Or I thought you said girlfriend too. I'm sorry. I get frustrated when stuff like this happens. So I'm sorry if I'm misremembering. But that might be a way for you, because I was problem solving in my head at points to listen. But that may be a way for you to approach her without without having the fear of feeling her judgment in that scenario, because you're approaching it from a medical perspective, saying, this is a dramatic physiological change that I've taken notice of, and that's of a concern to me, because it means that my, physically and mentally I'm dramatically different than what I was previously, and see if maybe that works as a way to approach conversations with her about libido and see how those go. And also conversations about dosage levels and types of medication to see if you can find a balance that's more beneficial to the way you actually want to live your life, which is what those medicines should be doing.
Well, it was doing it before, but right now, because it passed like the October 1st, and that was my sister's birthday, and the rush coming back to it is just so overwhelming. So like I just don't know how I feel about it,
Yeah.
So like I'm like so fucked up. Like
you don't
really so fucked up.
You don't need to know how you feel. Sometimes you do. Sometimes how you feel doesn't make sense, and it's not supposed to. It's just how you feel. We tend to think that because we're conscious of how our neurochemistry manifests in most situations, that we have some semblance of control over it. And we don't always. So sometimes, because we don't always, or even often, when our brain is reacting, the thoughts that come to our mind and the way that we deal with them, the way they manifest and the way that we feel them doesn't make sense. And attempting to organize them in a fashion that does make sense doesn't make sense. Sometimes we just need to be able to allow ourselves to go through an experience the best we can without focusing too much on trying to organize that experience, because then we can become caught in it. Now, I can't, and nobody here can give you long-term advice that's going to be able to get you through this. But if I can tell you anything, I would tell you to keep going to see the counselor if that's the only option that you have, or the psychologist or psychiatrist, and do the best you can to work with her in the fashion that you can. I'm very, very, very sorry that she's not who she should be for you, and I recognize that. And seek out other support systems outside of that so that you can feel supported, whether it's online or family members or friends, other people that you can have discussions and dialogues about your feelings and what happens to you. If it's something that you need to do more often, like you're doing right now, and sort of in an anonymous environment, there are forums that you can go to, and Recovering from Religion is a great place to go.
Yeah.
That's a wonderful place.
To them before.
Oh, good.
Yeah, because like I was an atheist since like 2 years ago, so I'm like pretty new about it. So like I'm rediscovering the world around me, and but my whole family is Catholic, and like ever since the murder happened, Mama has been telling me to go to church. She was I went with her to church to support her, and then I seen that it was kind of indoctrination, because I felt like she was doing it because I'm an atheist right now.
Yeah.
And that is not the right way. So like I cannot even tell my family that, well, my mom knows, but I cannot tell my uncles, I cannot tell my aunt, I cannot tell anyone that I'm an atheist, because like the baggage that comes with it, it is just overwhelming.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel
So,
you.
like,
I am the only atheist in my family as well. And
yeah,
at least the only one who says that they are. Who knows? There may be other people in your family who are feeling the same way and also are not saying because they're scared of the backlash.
Sure.
yeah. And then plus, like with my disability, like I cannot move. Like I can walk, but I walk like I limping, right? But I cannot walk far distances
Right.
because like I get like bruises and I get blisters because I used a brace. So like I have no clue whatsoever of what I'm gonna do with my life.
Yeah, it sounds like working with, hopefully a different psychiatrist, if that's an option for you, but at least some sort of social worker or counselor who's able to help you kind of navigate these systems and find the right clinicians for you and get plugged into a more comprehensive care plan is going to be a really important step. Unfortunately, I don't know the resources that are available where you are. Shannon definitely mentioned Recovery from Religion. I'm glad that you've worked with them in the past, but they do have some limited databases that cover at least the jumping off point in a number of different countries. So if you haven't specifically asked that question, I think that would be a good idea to do. And certainly we'll see what other information we're able to pull up and might be able to pass along.
Okay. So are you telling me that to call back?
Yeah, or if you could shoot us an email, actually, with just some basic information about how we could get in touch with you and about where you are. I'd be happy to pass along any, maybe just general contact information. There are a couple of different databases I could take a look at for you. And if you'd like to write in, and this is true of anybody watching, we're sex@atheist-community.org. We're not researchers. We don't necessarily have connections all over the globe, but we do know some pretty incredible people, many of whom do have connections all over the globe. So if there's anything that we can track down or put you in touch with, I'd definitely love to point you in the right direction, because this seems like a really meaningful struggle at a very difficult time.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Mo. Be strong. Be strong, Mo. We appreciate you. You're important.
Yeah.
You matter.
Yeah, but it's so difficult. But thank you so much.
Yeah, please shoot us an email and we can help keep this conversation going and see if there is anything that we might be able to direct you towards. And if not a good therapist or social worker where you are, there are all kinds of international online options and some different things to explore. So there's definitely hope out there. I know that it seems like resources are really limited, and that's because they are. And I don't want to dismiss that, how difficult it is to find a good connection. I mean, even here in Austin, I work with people on a daily basis that are struggling to pay my fees when they are looking for therapy, who are struggling to find psychiatrists, who are struggling to find these things. So these are real problems, and it sounds like you're in a very extreme situation. But I also know that the world is full of incredible people who are remarkably motivated to be part of the solution. And so I'd love to try and see if we can't get you in touch with some of those folks.
Okay, I'm gonna write to you, and then I'm gonna write also to recovering from.
Yeah, I think that'd be a great place to start.
Yes.
I hope that they can get you set up.
All right, thank you.
Thank you so much for
Absolutely.
calling.
We appreciate your bravery and calling in.
Thanks, Mo.
All right, bye.
Bye. Whew.
Yeah, really heartbreaking. I mean, we're hearing some beautiful stories tonight.
Yeah, beautiful and really hard.
Yeah.